Well, welcome to another episode of Kiss My Assets. We're excited to have Alexandra Arboleta with us today. She's an attorney and practices a lot in water law here in Arizona. And this is a question we get a lot from our investors about the water situation in Arizona. So we want to just have you come on the podcast, ask you a few questions. You just did a big presentation to our office, which was great, and we learned a lot. And thank you for joining us here for a few minutes.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
I love to talk about water, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, well, this is exciting for us. Yeah, water is a big deal in Arizona. So part of the reason we live here is because of the pools that are in everyone's backyard, and we need those in the middle of summer. But we also know that we've been in a drought for a long time, and that we rely on water from elsewhere here. So, but if you were to boil it down to kind of where we're at and why there's challenges, how would you describe that to someone who doesn't know much about it?
Sure. I think one of the things that's important to understand is where our water comes from. So we here in the Phoenix metropolitan area, we rely on groundwater, Colorado River water, other surface water supplies, which are like the Salt River, the Verde River, and then also reclaimed water, recycled water. So those are kind of our four main sources of supply. And the largest supply comes from groundwater. And but Colorado River is the second largest supply, about 36% of our supply. And we are facing water shortages on the Colorado River system. So our reservoirs are very low, and we're concerned that because the Colorado River system is overallocated and we're in a 23-year-long drought, that the reduction in that supply could have an impact on our daily lives here in Phoenix.
And when does that start potentially impacting us, potential restrictions? And I think that's what a lot of people think about is, can I keep watering my grass or my plants? And when does the shortage of supply, when would that really start impacting us? Or is it already and we just don't know it?
Well, so what I like to remind people is that we have a pretty resilient supply. So if we have less Colorado River water, we can rely on these other sources. And the Salt and Verde River systems are overflowing this year. We have a lot. And then we also have a lot of water stored underground, groundwater. But each city has its own water portfolio. And so a city that relies more on Colorado River water may be impacted sooner or more than a city that does not rely on Colorado River water. So they may be impacted differently by the shortages. I think in terms of when is it going to impact the cities? So because of our priority system, the city's municipal and industrial supplies are the highest priority. They're protected, so they haven't really been impacted yet. But when we get to a tier 3 shortage, you'll start to see it cut into the city's supplies a little bit more.
We're at a tier 2B shortage right now.
We're tier 2A this year. And then in August, we'll know what tier we're in for next year. But it's most likely going to be lower than a tier 2A, somewhere between tier 2B and 3. So we will be impacted by the shortages at that point. But a lot of cities they use some of that Colorado River to store underground and get credits. And so it may be that they're just going to cut back on that and that you won't see it directly. But most of the cities have drought plans and they're tied to the tiers. So they will implement more and more restrictive conservation measures as we get to lower tiers. So we're already starting to see some of the things implemented in different cities.
Yeah, who's being impacted now?
Right now, most of the things you're seeing are incentives to use less water. So not restrictions, but some cities are paying people to take out their lawns. I know the city of Scottsdale is doing that. Some cities have tiered water pricing. I talked about earlier, and where they are incentivizing people to use less water for outdoor landscaping and that kind of thing, while protecting their basic needs supplies. So Arizona, generally, we prefer to do things by incentives and gradual changes. We we have planned pretty well. We have the 100-year assured water supply requirement. So I always tell anybody who is living here now, we have enough water. It's really more, are we going to be able to keep up with our future growth, and at what rate or at what level? How are we going to do that? But we may start to see some more restrictions on watering as we get down to a tier 3, that kind of level.